What's going on, everybody? Eric Lindquist at Stochastic here on the Odd Shopper channel, coming to you with a Wednesday hump day edition of MLB Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Goes a long way for me on this video, goes a long way for you. That way you become a prize whenever great content is going live here at our little neck of the YouTube woods. So looking at 2-0 right now. We're up 4-1 here with the Padres. They need to hold tight to that one. It is the top of the sixth now, just starting up here. So I've got that on in the corner of my screen. Probably hide it while I'm talking through the commentary of this because, well, we got a lot to get to. I only have 2 plays coming up at the end of this, but I think there's a lot of great information, and I think I'm going to probably throw out a freebie or 2 tomorrow over on Exit as well. Probably attach something maybe to the expert picks page over at Tails. If you guys aren't there, tails.bet. You can find a ton of great information from myself, from Greg Ehrenberg, from Lofty in the preseason streaks, who's had a great preseason. But obviously, we've had a phenomenal MLB season, and this week looks like it's starting off with a banger. We hit the parlay there on Monday, which was kind of different for me, throwing out earned run parlays for the people. And then, well, Toronto kept it from being a full sweep there. We got the big plus money at the White Sox, and then 2-0. End up hitting the over. Thank you, Jeff McNeil, in the 9th inning for the Metsies, who had to do all the work against Washington while David Peterson went out of control for no reason. And then, well, we end up just sneaking through Philly -1. Needed a big 8th inning against a great reliever. So ended up being just wild to watch that run out for sure. But we'll talk about that game here yet again. But I have a ton of leans on this one, and I want you to pay closer attention to the leans. There's one in particular, one game, one spot that I think has tons of goodness, just everything. Pick them for the people. Home runs, I know that's what you're looking at here, and I want to cover that one a little bit in depth, but got to wait on weather and got to make sure that what I'm looking at is kind of correct as far as what I think the numbers are going to be tomorrow. That's kind of the difficult part about doing this night before, but I've done this now for almost 4.5 years, so I think at this point, well, you know, I've been with the company for over 4.5 years I've been doing this video. I think I've learned how to get ahead of the game and how I can predict some of those things, but this one's especially difficult because of the lineup order that can shift. We'll get into that here and there. But first, just throw it out there for the people. 50% off. Join the Lindy Discord. That is on your screen. Tails Lindy is the promo. A lot of you have utilized that. Lots of new faces. I think you're enjoying the vibes. Again, the worst pick'em board that I can remember forever. So I'm going to get a lot of pick'em here for the people on Wednesday as we have games throughout the day. And obviously, I'm going to need to speed this up because I know we got to get this video out. It is early baseball starting in the morning. Want to get you all the information. And of course, speaking of information, be like Lindy, join Tails today. There's a link down there below. If you want to do what I do, if you think you can do what I do, again, I'm not saying everybody, it's not for everybody, but if it's for you, take a look. It's in our book, Reading Rainbow. All right, let's get to the plays. Wanted to get those out here ahead of time. Don't even have the TV on behind me. I don't want any distractions because we got ourselves a lot to get to. Starting with Toronto and Pittsburgh. Your first game of the day, Bassett and Oviedo. Oviedo is somebody that I've generally gone out of my way to try to attack. I don't know if I'm in love with attacking him here in this spot, considering he's had, all of 2 batted ball events, 43 pitches in his first outing of the year. He's only 27, but boy, the peripherals didn't look great. But he was getting a lot of ground ball, and it's just not a sample size that you can even dictate anything from. If you go back to 2023, which is the last time that we really saw him, 361 ex-Wobicon, but that was his first year as a starter. 303 ex-Wobicon is what he had as a reliever. Is this going to be like a middle-of-the-road type thing where he's getting 55, 60 pitches? How do they handle his workload? I don't really know, and I think it makes Toronto props very difficult in PNC Park, which has some interesting park factors to it. As for Bassett, you can attack him with lefty power, but what's the lefty power we're really worried about? Switch hitting Brian Reynolds. He's very good at hitting for what it's worth, but strikes out an absolute metric ton. O'Neal Cruz still out of this lineup, so just paying attention to see, what we get for this starting lineup. Might be a Toronto late ad, if anything. Again, Toronto money line, that's why it's up on your screen. Houston taking on Detroit here in this spot. This one is another that I want you to just take note of. Framber Valdez on the mound. Tons of ground balls here against Detroit, but we're starting to see some of that hard hit data start to creep back up. So while he's in 98th percentile on Baseball Savant in terms of what his hard hit or what his ground ball percentage is, we're starting to see some blow ups at times. Now, he cleaned it up against the Metsies, 7 innings pitched there. Had some really nice stuff early on in the season, but then against Baltimore, 9 hits. Against the Yankees, 8 hits. Against the Red Sox, 7 hits. That resulted in 3, 4, and 5 earned runs, respectively. This has not been good for him here. I think Detroit this might be a sneaky spot to potentially add them to the card in some way, shape, or form. Now, I don't know how I go about doing that here with Charlie Morton, who I'm a little surprised at the number at open here, but Houston bats have been awfully quiet. So, yeah, we're going to be paying close attention to that one. This could have easily just been Detroit money line up there. Detroit -1, looking at some alt numbers, potentially trying to push into plus money territory to really say, hey, Framber Valdez is still giving up more than the market is expecting. We got Corbin Carroll here. He continually pops in terms of home runs. And then I get the actual number day of, and it looks ridiculous. But you get Brandon Pfaadt on one side. This might be a Kyle Manzardo side, but Parker Messick is the guy who's going to be starting for this one. It's the number 10 prospect in the Guardian spot. He pitched for the Columbus Clippers. Yep. Shout out Columbus. Columbus, Ohio State. Good stuff. College football, almost here. Ben Raza about to flood your timeline. It's going to be beautiful times. But I don't know what to make of this guy. 3.47 ERA. Got some strikeout stuff. It's a big throwing lefty, but this is where you get like a new pitcher out there, and left on left, you're going to get like the plus 400, plus 450 type Corbin Carroll numbers that are oh so appealing. Because, he didn't homer today. Well, he still hasn't yet. There's still time. Has he homered here? Thank God he hasn't homered. Just had to check my phone. I put my iPad away for the night because I needed to focus. But St. Louis money line here up against Miami. This one is probably the least interesting game on the slate by far. Sandy Alcantara apparently can pitch somewhat again. He's shown signs of life here and had recently faced this team and been all right. But Andre Palante on the other side drives me nuts because he's such a good ground ball pitcher, 61%, but then no strikeout stuff, 328 xWOBA, despite a sub 8% walk rate. That means you're giving up contact and you're giving up a lot of hits. Now, it could be a BABIP thing, but I really don't want to back Palante against Alcantara here at these kind of prices. White Sox taking on the Braves. This one I could maybe get down with. Now, the White Sox we've backed successfully this week on Monday. Tuesday, they ripped my guy B. Greg's heart out in the Discord. I mean, that was a terrible sweat to watch live because he was on the White Sox. I don't wish that upon anybody. But Martin Perez must pay for his sins. And Hurston Waldrop has been really good early on. The strikeout stuff's there. Limited walks, 7.6%. 275 xWOBA. He's been very, very good. And I really like attacking a guy like Martin Perez, who I just don't believe in this. I've never believed in this stuff, even though Minnesota got like a flash in the pan moment with him. Pirates he burned, the Rangers he burned. He's going to burn the White Sox. Not that they care. They don't actively try to win baseball games. The Yankees and Rays, everybody, you get a home run and you get a home run. And, as much as I got right, because I got a lot right here on Tuesday, I got this one very wrong. Shane Baz over 15.5 outs. I mean, it was done before you could say homer, which you had to say like 7 or 8 times, because it seems like more than half the Yankee lineup hit a homer. You had 2 double dongs with Giancarlo Stanton and Mr. Bellinger. So anyway, enough about that one, because Cameron Error home run, you should know by now, eternally undervalued. And then in this spot, that Schlittler likes to give up some hard contact. Rasmussen on the other side might be an interesting late Tampa ad. Now, somehow I stayed off of both Milwaukee money lines today. Whew, those are terrifying. And everybody in the Discord tried to get me to do it. And I just couldn't do it. And I didn't know why, but the data loved it. Just didn't love it. Just really didn't. I thought the Cubs were a little bit undervalued at one point, but it was basically Milwaukee or pass. Oh, here's the most important thing I'm going to talk about. Talked about it in the preamble in the beginning of this program. A's Twins. This game is nuclear right now on my sheet. Now, I don't have opening numbers. It is just about midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. And do the Padres still have a 4-1 lead? They still have a 4-1 lead, bottom of 6. That makes me happy. These are good things. But I cannot believe the short numbers that I have on Nick Kurtz, on Brent Rooker, on Shea Langoliers, and on Tyler Soderstrom to go yard off of Bailey Ober tomorrow. Like, I'm talking all of them inside of plus 300. Every single one, all 4. I don't know if I can click on all 4. Now, I played Soderstrom today. Plus 500 was just too big of a number, I thought, even against Mr. Ryan. And, well, Shea Langoliers just goes berserk because Shea Langoliers is doing that nonstop here up at the top of the lineup. But you get a Wednesday. You got 2 teams that aren't really playing for anything. I'm worried that you get a weird lineup. And some of the best numbers at open, especially night before, are on FanDuel. And that gets me freaked out because I might throw something out there that I regret. I might bet something myself that I regret, that all of a sudden you might be getting pinch hit for and have a one at bat out. And that really kills your expected value when you're betting four guys and one of them ends up out. Now, if it's the one play that you throw out there and I say Soderstrom, and then all of a sudden they just choose to give him a day off for whatever reason, I do think more than likely Brent Rooker's the guy who would sit out of those four, or Shea Langlear's obviously catching duty goes to DH duty. You could just say he sits out for a day, but he's been so blazing hot. You just let him keep doing his thing. 1 through 4 A's against Bailey Ober. Check this out. Bailey Ober, 210 expected ISO to lefties, just a 15.6% K rate, 225 expected ISO and 228 actual ISO to righties with a 21 degree launch angle, 21.9 degree launch angle, and lefties 23.6 degree launch angle. Everything about this Bailey Ober spot just has me salivating. 365 365 expected ISO for Nick Kurtz, 446 xwOBA. I'm looking at walk props, I'm looking at batter props, I'm looking at everything because I do think Bailey Ober is so prone. You could just get annihilated in a spot like this. Only 82, 83 degrees here at first pitch, but it's probably the most interesting game I've had in terms of props for what I expect the market to open at and what I'm listing them at. Now, I might be shocked in the morning. I might be shocked you might see an inside of plus 200 Nick Kurtz, and everything I'm talking about is irrelevant. But that is the game I want starred, highlighted. That's why it has 3 stars next to it. I didn't even throw out a prop. But if you have questions about it, hit me up on X at Eric Lindquist. And obviously in the premium Discord, you will be catered to because I'm going to be in there from beginning morning till night. We got Texas money line here going up against Kansas City, and this one is another really unappealing game, kind of in the vein of this. Well, a couple of like duds coming up here, but anyway, this one you got Noah Cameron for sure going on the Kansas City side. So I'm expecting big plus money in some capacity here on the Texas side. I put Kumar Rocker in as the current starter, even though there's nowhere that is listed. He ended up getting sent down to AAA. It's been 3 weeks, but it kind of sets up perfectly if they want to utilize him and call him up for a 1 start. So anyway, I don't love Kumar Rocker, but I think he's got better stuff than people have kind of been harping on. And, going down to AAA, sometimes you need a reset. Sometimes you need to just, get off the train of being shitty for a little while. And then the stuff will win out in the end. I think he'll end up having a good year somewhere down the line, but this has obviously not been it. Milwaukee money line against the Cubbies. This one's really tough for me yet again. Wind's been blowing in here nonstop. And then the Jacob Mizrowski thing, the Miz. I'm mad that I didn't take the under of his strikeouts last time out, but it was like 3.5 or 4.5, and he got completely lit up. He had 3 strikeouts, I believe, in the first inning, but didn't get out of the second against Cincy, and then they had that unbelievable comeback win. But we all expect better things from him here, and Colin Ray absolutely sucks. So Milwaukee money line the lean yet again. I don't know what to expect of Miz. I expect better than last time out, but I think everybody does. And the market seems pretty efficient on it, although if it dips another 5-10 cents, you could definitely talk me into Milwaukee money line making the card. Ohtani under 5.5 strikeouts against the Rockies. That one's pretty straightforward. It's Coors Field. We know there's a hard cap on 5. Now, there was a time last week when Ohtani, we got news that I had to change his outs projection from 12. It was like a hard cap of 12, but saying he could pitch the 5th inning. So I changed it to 15. I had the under 5.5 on the lean screen. And then we ended up playing a lock on the over of 5.5. It was for plus money that we ended up getting. It was an unbelievable play. That's a 25% out change, but now the market knows it. We know that he can't pitch outside of 6 unless Dave Roberts just magically does another thing where he says, hey, you can't go beyond that. We know the Rockies like to throw Freeman out there to lead off. Lowest strikeout rate on the team, right around 9%. Don't know what to make of it, but I do have a lot of interest in something on the Ohtani side if it gets inflated a little bit further. The Angels, yeah, this one's going to be probably a stay away as well, although really good hitting weather, and Nick Martinez must pay for his sins, but Yusei Kikuchi's been so good for us, like really good. Whether it's been props, whether it's been backing the Angels for him, or when we've attacked him with righty power. The main thing is that there's not a lot of righty power. Miguel Andujar, who's been living the life because he got to know, it's just been absurd the run he's been on. So if it's not him, Angels kind of feel a little unscathed. Yeah, lots of late ads that could show up on the card. And then rounding it out, I know we spent a lot of time on the leans, but appropriately so with just 2 likes coming your way that will go very quick. I'm feeling better if you couldn't tell. Thank you for everybody sending nice messages and stuff. You didn't, fuck you. But Giants taking on San Diego here under 8. This one is also very appealing to me. You got Ropp, you got Steers. And JP Sears, just like the actual store, he was closed last time out. They sent him down to AAA. He makes his way back up. You can't quit him. Okay, we shouldn't quote that movie, but anyway, you love who you love, I guess. Giants under 8. New shiny thing. You guys want to be like Lindy? Join Tails today. It's down in the video description box below. Also, 50% off. 50% off the weekly, monthly. Tails Lindy. Would love to see you guys in the Discord. I'm just betting baseball all day. That's what I like to do. I would like to do it with you, and I'm pretty good at it. So how's that for a sale job? I don't care if you don't join. Like, I just want people who want to join and want to make money betting. So let's get to the play, shall we? Likes begin. Seattle taking on Philly. I am a terrible producer, but I'm the producer. Hit that like button, everybody, as Seattle takes on Philly in the early in the morning. We've got Philly with Jesus Luzardo, which you just never know what you're going to get with this guy. And this is a Seattle team that comes to town with a 188 ISO under all circumstances. But let's start digging into them against lefty, shall we? Because they pick up Josh Naylor, who's a lefty, but they also have that Randy Arozarena, and Julio Rodriguez has been so much better. But they have the 4th highest K rate in baseball on the season against left-handed pitching at 25.2%. But they have a 104 WRC plus on the season. So it's kind of this push and pull that neutralizes. It's not even the Luzardo side that I'm that concerned about. It's Luis Castillo, who the velocity keeps dipping. The barrel percentage is up to 10%, 47.2% hard hit. This game is just nuclear to me. And I had this set aside. You should know by now that I don't like Luis Castillo. And every time he's on the road out of his cavern of a ballpark, I'm looking to attack him. And I think you want to attack this number now. Over 8.5, minus 108 is where we were able to get this over on FanDuel. I saw some 8s that were like minus 125, but don't forget when you're taking overs, 4-4, that automatically goes to 9. So having the 4-4 tie push to 9, like that's a really nice advantage to potentially keep those 17 cents off the board. I saw minus 125, minus 130 for a lot of the 8s. So I opted for the 8.5 as opposed to the 8, but don't really mind either of the numbers or either of the plays at those type of prices. So my favorite play of the day, Seattle Philly, the over. Alrighty, again, we're going to have props. We're going to have a lot that shows up on the card, but this one, we needed a miracle from McNeil there in the 9th inning. Actually, I don't even know what I'm asking for. Jake Irvin was terrible like we expected, and David Peterson he sun ran. He absolutely sun ran. James Wood, what are you actually doing with your life, bro? Both of his non-competitive at-bats right off the bat against Peterson. Strikeout looking, swing the bat. Swing away, Merrill. I think that's from Signs. But anyway, this is a sign. I saw the sign and it opened up my eyes. I saw the sign. No one's going to lift you up to get into the light where you belong. With Kadai Senga, who I generally like to back, I've really not backed him all year long. I don't know what to make of it. My data, it just loves the fact that he walks a ton of dudes. 11.6% walk rate, gets into way too many long counts. And here's the one thing that I think goes a little bit underappreciated when it comes to people giving analysis online. If you walk a lot of guys, if you don't give a lot of depth, it doesn't matter that you have a 225 expected batting average or a 309 xWOBA. You're going to face fewer batters and you're going to be less impactful for your baseball team if you're going 4 innings, as opposed to being one of those guys with those numbers who goes 6 innings. Hashtag math. Again, that is the whole thing. You're trying to get length out of your starters. And Kadai Senga, they haven't really found a spot for it. Now, that said, I really like Kadai Senga because last time out, end up getting a K prop across the board with him. Like, he's actually treated us pretty darn well over the course of the entire year, but this is just another one of those obvious, have to do it, can't find any way around it. Bet against the Washington Nationals starting pitchers. Brad Lord, 276 expected batting average. Good Lord, sub 20% K rate. Only thing he does is the barrel percentage. 4.8% barrel percentage is really good, but does it matter when it's Juan Soto, Pete Alonso, Brandon Nimmo, Mark Vientos, who, shout out Mark Vientos. That was a sharp 1.5 hits plus runs plus RBIs ad from me, if I do say so myself. And Brett Beatty. I bet both of them. They both go yard, and everybody wanted to give me shit that I didn't bet them to go yard. Thanks, guys. Might be my first day without a home run since like 1994. That's hurtful, but not hurtful. Tails. We love you guys. We want you guys to be checking that out here on the board. And then obviously I've been talking about it the whole time. The Discord, we got Greg Ehrenberg, we got Aton Shander. There's Greg. There's Greg. There's Aton. I love my dudes. We're in the Lindy and Friends Discord exclusively on Tails. Head to the link below. Use promo code TailsLindy when you do. And that does it for a quick and easy. Well, no, it was 20 minutes. 20 minutes. That does it for another edition of MLB Lindy's Leans, Likes, and Locks. Head to the comment section below. I'm going to try to get this video out post haste because, well, it's early morning baseball. I know you want to be betting that. I'll probably throw out that Seattle Philly over just because I want to throw it out on X to make sure everybody has a chance to see it. Remember, Lindy's Long Balls exclusively on X for the week. Until next week, I'll have it back here on the YouTube channel once we get, well, not producer Jacob, who I absolutely love. We got producer Joey doing some great work there for Lindy's Long Balls in the short department here on the Odd Chopper YouTube channel. Give him some love one time when he shows up inevitably at some point in time. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Hopefully we can continue just having awesome days. Oh, 5-1. We're going to probably get the sweep. That's going to make me happy. Until next time, friends, I'm Eric Lindquist. Best of luck in the MLB streets on Hump Day. See you then. Bye.